So what do we have here? SharylAttkisson.com. Former government agent admits illegally spying on Sharyl Attkisson, implicates government colleagues. Plaintiffs, verse Rod Rosenstein, Sean Henry, Sean Wesley Bridges, Robert Clark, and Ryan White. What do we got here? Let's click on that. Scroll down a bit. Cheryl Thomas Attkisson, James Howard Attkisson, Sarah Judith Starr Attkisson are the plaintiffs against Rod Rosenstein, Sean Henry, Sean Wesley Bridges, Robert Clark, Ryan White, and unknown named agents 1 through 50 of the Department of Justice in their individual capacities. Defendants. Former government agent admits spying on Attkisson implicates his colleagues. Former U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein is accused of leading the group. Government hackers allegedly reported to FBI official who now heads CrowdStrike. I'm sorry, what was that? CrowdStrike. Wasn't CrowdStrike the private company that looked into the DNC email hacking nonsense and never let the FBI never looked at the server? They took the word of a third party, CrowdStrike, that, yeah, we trust you, the Russians hacked it. Yeah, that was it. Government hackers allegedly reported to FBI official who now heads CrowdStrike. Former FBI unit chief confirms he initiated forensic report proving government intrusion and reported it to Attkisson. What's that? A former U.S. government agent has admitted participating in the illegal government surveillance on then CBS News investigative reporter Sharyl Attkisson. The insider has identified former U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein as the person responsible for the project. Huh. Is that not the... I'm just making sure. That's not the one CBS lady, was it? The one that had the Epstein story? I thought that was something. Let me just double check. That shouldn't be her, because if that's her, oh my gosh, this just got very interesting. It looks like her. Sharyl Attkisson Epstein. It does look like her. Yeah, Sharyl Attkisson. Why I released the ABC Epstein tape. This is getting really interesting. That is her. So she had dirt on Epstein, and somehow she has this illegal spying operation done on herself. I bet it went down as soon as she was ready to run that story. Deep State's getting panicked. They pull the story, the NBC, and the Deep State. Well, why does she want to run the story? What does she know? What does she got? Let's spy on her. You're spying on her for Epstein, or because you know all the sex trafficking and all the stuff they were doing that was so illegal, the federal government employees, many very high-ranking officials, were involved, including maybe some of these people. We can't have that. We need to spy on her and get her to shut up. So a former U.S. government agent has admitted to participating in the illegal government surveillance on then CBS News investigative reporter Sharyl Attkisson. The insider has identified former U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein as the person responsible for the project. He was the top guy. You know, it was very odd what happened with John Here to Help in that lady Santa surfing, and she did this video that I watched where she says, here's one time when John says he didn't know what the heck this, he had no idea about this, but then when I did an interview with him, he did. And then he said, no, I did not tell anybody this, and then he told me. And it was one thing after another, this contradictory stuff. He said he had no idea about that stuff. He didn't know anything about that. That's what he told that person. But then when I asked him, all of a sudden he has all these answers. She goes, why didn't he have the answers when that person asked? You know, it was very odd, and it made me take a step back on old John Here to Help. But there's still something about that damn guy. Anyways, I'm going to keep reading because one of the big things he said was Rosenstein was running a lot of these operations himself, these top secret operations above and beyond what he was allowed to do. And now we have official word from Sharyl Attkisson. Yeah, he was actually doing that with me, which is really interesting. As a result of the new admission, Attkisson and her family are filing suit against Rosenstein and 4 other men allegedly involved. According to the lawsuit, the illegal surveillance was conducted against Attkisson and other U.S. citizens under a government operation based at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Baltimore, Maryland. What else were we told? And again, I will say by John here to help. Baltimore was the place where the super duper secret database system that was untrackable, untraceable, and even they pointed a video of Maxine Waters saying we have this database, it's the most incredible thing we've ever had before, and the next Democrat or president, whatever, they'll have access to this. She's even said it, and I've seen the video. John here to help had said it did exist. It was illegal as hell. Didn't stop them from using it. And I asked him through Twitter, so do we know who used the damn thing? Can we track, typically when any kind of query happens, it's logged. Who made the query, because there's massive liability. Did you have a FISA warrant? Did you have, the okay? And he was basically saying, well, this particular database was set up so that you really didn't. It connected to every system out there, and the FBI, CIA, the DOJ, everything. It was all connected, and you could just tap into anything, according to him. But he said it was in Baltimore, Maryland. Quote, the plaintiffs first acquired the details regarding key individuals involved in the surveillance in August 2019 from a person involved in the wrongdoing who has come forward to provide information. I'm just going to stop for one second. Well, let me finish this paragraph. Prior to that time, the government and its agents and representatives had denied that any such conduct had occurred, including denials in court pleadings and argument. So, let me back up. The plaintiffs first acquired the details regarding key individuals involved in the surveillance in August 2019 from a person, John here to help? I don't know, involved in the wrongdoing, who has come forward to provide the information. And he retweeted this today, and that's why I actually saw it. Again, it's very odd what happened between him and Santa surfing. It just doesn't even make sense to me. The Attkisson lawsuit claims that in March 2011, defendants Sean Henry, Sean Bridges, Robert Clark, and Ryan White, all of whom were government employees connected to a special multi-agency federal government task force based in Baltimore, Maryland, were ordered by defendant Rosenstein to conduct home computer surveillance on Attkisson and other U.S. citizens. This sounds exactly like what John here to help is saying. If she is in contact with him and he told her the things that she now knows, she's actually filing suit. That puts a whole different outlook or spotlight, if you will, on John here to help, as far as I'm concerned. Which is still troubling because the whole thing with Santa here to help does not make any damn sense. And if this woman believes this guy enough to file a lawsuit, boy, I hope, she must have some pretty detailed information. In believing it, what was she shown? What was she given? Sean Henry was head of the FBI's Washington field office. In 2012, Henry left the FBI and is now president of CrowdStrike Services, a company that seeks to mitigate targeted online attacks on corporate and government networks globally. Yes, that CrowdStrike, the DNC hack server one. Yep, that's them. Sean Bridges was a special agent with the U.S. Secret Service for approximately 6 years, operating out of the Baltimore field office. Between 2012 and 2014, he was assigned to the Baltimore Silk Road Task Force, a multi-agency group investigating illegal activity on the Silk Road, if you guys remember that whole thing. a covert online marketplace for illicit goods, including drugs. Yep. In 2015 and 2017, Bridges was convicted of corruption related to his government work and is now serving a prison sentence. At the time, Attkisson was targeted by the illegal surveillance. She was a CBS News investigative correspondent who was uncovering news about the Department of Justice's gun-walking operation known as Fast and Furious. Aha! This was not even Epstein stuff. It was Fast and Furious, which we found out. Eric Holder, remember that? Attorney General Eric Holder. Yeah, we were monitoring guns going to drug cartels, and we lost track of them. And one of the cartels got the guns and killed one of the border patrol agents. So she was covering that. Another criminal operation by our government. She needs to be spied on. I'd love to see how they did that, right? Surely you guys got a FISA warrant, correct? Or did you legally spy through other means? Through this database John here to help has told us about. Attkisson's reporting of the case ultimately was recognized with an Edward R. Murrow Award and an Emmy Award for investigative reporting. Unauthorized remote surveillance of Attkisson continued throughout her subsequent reporting on the Islamic extremist attacks on Americans in Benghazi. Another highly important incident covered up. No, they were mad at a video online that went viral, and they decided to attack the embassy because of an American video. Remember that nonsense? Benghazi. So this lady, this investigative journalist, is going after key deep state things that they do not want the public learning about. You can see why she was spied on. That reporting was recognized with an investigative Emmy nomination. CBS News first confirmed the illegal computer intrusions in August 2013. In another development, a former FBI unit chief has signed a sworn affidavit confirming that forensics prove U.S. government software was used in illegal surveillance on Attkisson and her family. So, it's not John here to help. It doesn't sound like, at least this part. In another development, a former FBI unit chief signed a sworn affidavit confirming that forensics prove U.S. government software was used in illegal surveillance on Attkisson and her family. Leslie Swalzolowski, an attorney headed up by the FBI's Electronic Surveillance Technology section, he says that a colleague asked him for help in examining Attkisson's computer in late 2012. He says a forensic exam, Leslie, the attorney, says a forensic exam conducted by a technician with expertise in government surveillance tools confirmed that spyware proprietary to a federal agency was in fact found in Attkisson's computer. The lawyer says he and his colleagues were shocked and outraged to learn the government was spying on a journalist. Quote, "I personally could not imagine that something like this could ever happen in the United States of America." The lawyer said the remote intruders had full access to Attkisson's computer, files, photographs, and internet activities. The surveillance allegedly included a keystroke monitoring program, exfiltration of Attkisson's files, and listening in on her audio through Skype. And who owns Skype now and has for a while? Microsoft. Do you suppose, because I think John here to help had said this, Rod Rosenstein, they wanted to get this guy's money. Wealthy guy. They couldn't really take him down. I think he said they put child porn on his computer. And that way they were able to take him down. with this type of program or whatever the spying tool is. If they can connect to any computer that they want to without you ever knowing, look at everything on your computer, modify your files, add stuff to your computer, take stuff off your computer, they can certainly get highly illegal, explicit photos, videos, whatever, dump them on your computer. The next thing you know, they're kicking your door in. You're like, what the hell, what did I do? I didn't do anything. They confiscate your laptop, they confiscate your computer. They go to the FBI forensic lab. Oh yeah, he downloaded it. Definitely downloaded it 5 weeks ago. You're sitting in front of a jury with this expert FBI witness. I'm a forensic guy with the FBI. I can attest that the files were put there 5 weeks ago on this individual's laptop for sure. And the stupid, dumbed down sheeple, not their own fault, will listen to this expert like he is a god. And you are an effing filthy criminal who deserves to rot in prison the rest of your life. If this happens and she wins, and it's then brought out, well, what does this tool do? What is the capabilities of this tool the FBI uses? Can you actually put files on people's computers? Yes, we can. We don't do that, but yeah, it is possible. Every single conviction of every single individual, which even would include really bad guys who really had bad stuff on their computer, could literally be overthrown and reversed because of the criminal, in this case FBI, agents illegally doing this activity. Every single case would have to be reopened, and they would say they would count this case as a case law. Your Honor, it has been proven that we had a massively corrupt federal government within the FBI. They illegally spied. They didn't have the authority to spy. They did so anyways. And they could have planted something on her computer because they've already admitted this tool can do that. And my client has never had any problems like this before. You threw him in jail 5 years ago. Your Honor, he alleged then that it was planted. He made the allegation then it was planted, just like everybody else would. Oh, that's not mine. That's not mine. Yeah, that's not mine either. Could you imagine the scope, the size of this, if that happens? I just think of what Q said. This whole thing, it's so big and so disturbing. He said, we can't let you all know everything. We can't. You'd never be the same again. And you are paying for the criminal activity of certain federal government employees to spy on you illegally, to possibly frame you, plant evidence on you. Keep paying your effing IRS taxes, you sheep. You hear me? Keep paying it. That's what they say. Shut up and take your vaccine. Don't question that. Don't question authority. And it turns out the authority was the effing devil and his minions, so to speak. Wow.